Welcome back, guys. This next video that we're going to look at is Eternal Rains by Ad Infinitum. I've deliberately been holding off on this song because I love this band and I love everything about this band. Their guitar player Adrian is one of my favorite guitar players right now, and as I spoke about in previous videos about my top vocalists, this band have my number one vocalist, Melissa Bonney. And to get out of that fanboy phase, I watched this a bunch, I let other people react. And again, I want to look at the analysis of a video. I don't really want to just react to it and say, yeah, I like the song, because I obviously love the band and I love the song. Instead, I want to do analysis of the musicality as well as the production that had gone into this video. So here we are, Eternal Rains by Ad Infinitum. Okay, right away, we can see this enclosure. You see that crescent moon? Where my mouse pointer is. So this is a projection screen. They're using LEDs, and these screens are super cool. We're seeing it in film production now where you can send videographers away to film a location. They come back with like an hour or two of footage and they put it into the screen. So you're now in a studio and you have the location without interference or weather conditions going wrong. Bands have caught on to this and they're like, hey, we can play all this cool shit through the back of these LED screens. And that's what they've opted for here, and using the kind of moon in the background and the rain effects. They've also added the element of water. They're wet and they're kicking around water and everything as well. So they're in a storm. As this song says, Eternal Rains. The opening tones, I love that low drone of the guitar, using a multi-scale 8-string. I'll speak about that a little bit later in the video. And of course, the outfitting. There's no dominant person. There's no like everybody's wearing black but the singer who's wearing red. There's no separation. This is a band. Everybody's got a job. Everybody's got skills. And they have a lead vocalist, but everybody's good in this band. Everybody. So, here's the first verse.
There's a storm in the air, it's coming closer. I can tell that we swim in troubled waters, and the fate of the world's above and under, unstable like fire. We look up to the sky to find the answer. What's the meaning of pain without a sweetener? Decipher the ultimate enigma. Is this alive?
Okay, so through that verse, we're seeing and we're hearing the guitar is doing a really cool technique, which is hemiola technique. We are so used to hearing songs in sections and a start point and a stopping point. So the intro plays, and then we hear the verse, then we hear the chorus, and then it goes back to the verse and the chorus and bridge, solo, and so on. And each of these sections has a starting point and a stopping point. But what Adrian, the guitarist, is doing is using that low F sharp string on the H string to play a drone. So it goes boom, 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 boom. And that drone carries into the replay of the melody. And it goes over and over and over again, repeatable. And this contains this smooth line of the verse playing consistently and continually. And it's just a really nice effect. I think it came in around the classical period of time. It was used a lot in symphonic works. And wow, that's a really cool technique to see. There's a lot of gent bands that do it really well. Gajira do it quite a lot as well. And as we stopped in this frame, you can see this is really nice in focus. And something that they're doing is they're not only upgrading the backdrop and using LED screens and all this kind of stuff, but they're also using higher end production cameras. So the difference between a cinema camera and a DSLR camera is DSLRs are used for photos. That's what we use them for. But they have video capabilities. The camera I'm speaking to right now, to you, is a Nikon D5, which shoots in 4K as it is now, but it's not designed for video. This camera behind me here is a cinema camera. This won't take good photos. It's capable of taking photos, but it's not designed for that. So previous videos we looked at, it's not so much as low-end production. They both very much the same, but cinema cameras are more designed to create visuals like this. And it's the same with lenses, like this right here. This is a cine lens. There's so much components to it, and it's all manual focus. So you can't auto focus this. You can't just hold your trigger and it'll completely focus in, and then you just run around with a camera. Everything is manual, and this is what they're designed for. So again, they've upped the production massively. And previous videos we stopped in frames and they're a bit blurry, but in this video it's not. Look at that. That's a cool frame. Yeah, that it's just quality. They've looked at everything. They've looked at the introduction, the verse, how it's all going to look, the opening. I'd be very surprised if they didn't storyboard this, but I think they did. Holy shit. You see why she's the queen? Oh my god. Like, this is why she's my number one. She's phenomenal. That growl into that high. I mean, I think it was a high A. Everything I've talked about in previous videos about dynamic control and chest voice and head voice, she just did a course of 4 seconds. She dropped her dynamics right into that low growl, and she brought it right up through her chest, into her head voice, and hit this massive high. There is no separation between it. It completely goes boom, boom, right up. She's special. She really is. And she blows my mind. She really does. Excuse me. And I'll rewind it back so you can see it again. Phenomenal. So that use of slow motion, we saw it in a previous video with Elaine using the slow motion and records hair flicking. They've used this very subtly. It's just a few seconds. It's just enough to give the video a little bit of a flair. And how they can go between these phases of high pace, kick in the water, into this kind of like hair flick and get it bang on time. Everything is so precise, and this is what I love about bands that are coming out now. Everything is just so refined and perfect. There's no that'll do. It's not enough. And I'm pretty sure when they hit the studios, they go through so much material that we won't hear. They're chasing every little thing. And Adrian's guitar playing as well. It's like he he's refined his playing to suit this style. If you told him to go play Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne, he could play quite easily. But the touch and control and the just everything about how someone else would do it, like Zach Wilde would play it effortlessly. Whereas you would see nuances between the two, whereas Zach Wilde tried to play his style in this song, you would he's capable and he probably could play the whole song, but you'll see those tonality differences. He has refined his playing to so perfect, as perfect as it can get. And this whole band are chasing perfection. The rhythm section that's about to go into the next verse, you'll see the really cool thing, and that drone note that I spoke about before, the hemiola technique, which continues the melody. The guitar is going one way, but the bass is going the other, and the drum is using an offset. So the drum will go at the end of each phase, and you'll hear it in this next section, because rather than the drone continuously going through, they opted to doing staccato technique. So and you'll hear it in this next verse.
At the edge of the world of contradictions, cultivating a pain through your ambition to expand the scope of your horizon. We consume the deep poison. We look down to the ground just to feel safer, silencing the dream of rising higher. Obedient betrayers of our own mind. Is this a crime? We crumble.
That's cool. I love that movement. Look at that. You could freeze that, crop it. Hell, even just make that a wallpaper for your widescreen monitor. That is a sick frame. And this is something else that's special about Melissa. She knows how to use her body in a way that draws us in. Not as in being attracted, but more of a sense of we can't take our eyes off her, because she's a way to tell us something. And you can tell a story with your body rather than pulling your audience by attraction like pop stars do. Again, I have no problem with that. But this is different. This is, I'm telling you a story, don't take your eyes off me. And she's not afraid to try things. Like, she's not just upright the whole video. She's not just standing there singing into a microphone or maybe waving her hands. Her posture and everything is just so robust and strong. And here, like, even when she's dropping her knees a little bit, this is a strong kind of like superhero pose. And you see when her hands are like, when it goes into the chorus, she extends her hands right out. Everything is just like poof, poof. And it's that kind of, holy shit, she's the boss, you know? So she's like a superhero. And with a superhero voice. Our solo. Again, we stopped in a freaking awesome frame. That guitar solo was very nice. So as I was saying about pan fret guitars, extended range, multi skill, what they do is their frets are offline. And you'll see when he's playing that the frets are angled a little bit. This reduces tension on the high strings and increases tension on the lower strings. So the lower strings not just floppy going, and the high strings are not so tight that they'll eventually break if you try and bend them. So that solo, when he's doing those slides into the very high notes, he has a lot of gain and a lot of high mids, but it's also the tension's not there, and this is great. That's why they're soaring like all those notes. It's not even the delay it's doing it; it's the vibrato. And again, we're looking at technique, precision, everything that he needs for this band. He has done a million times. Every day he picks up his guitars and he's just doing everything that he needs to do. And it's not that he can't do anything else. It's just that he wants to do this for this band at this time. And that solo was phenomenal. I love the tapping techniques. He's one of my favorite players right now. He's If you look at what he's doing now and you look in the next 5 years, he's going to be like Tim Henson and Scotty LePage and all these great um, new age guitar players. He's on that verge. He's he's special. This whole band is special.
Stay with me. Eternity awaits. When the ground is shaking, salvation is up. A silent dream so far away. I will wait for new dawn, a new day, and you just a fade away.
Wow, that was cool. I loved that. Like each frame of each person. So we go back to the drums. Drums,
Silent
bass,
dream so far away. I will
guitar,
wait for
bass,
new dawn, a
drum.
new day, and you just a fade away. I rise above the waves of this uncertainty.
Wait, did I just see what I thought I seen? I've watched this video a bunch of times. I never noticed that. Is he kicking more? that's funny. That's cool. Yeah, that's fun. You know, it just shows you that it's another element, is it? An element of humor as well that they've added to this. And again, she's just. But they obviously had a lot of fun kicking up the water and stuff, and to include it in the video, that's fun. I like that. I really enjoyed that. Again, I watched this video about 20, 30 times, and I've never noticed that. Um, that's cool. It's just that little. It's a new element, isn't it? A little bit of humor.
Before the shadows arise,
Wow, like this song, like again, I've heard this song before. I've heard this band before, and the album is from Chapter Three, Downfall. The whole album is amazing. My favorite song from it is Upside Down. Um, you can see what I'm saying, right? This lady is she's special. It's no wonder she's got all these guest slots. She did one with my friend's band Jonah Weingarten from Pyramids. She did a guest slot on their latest album as well. So she's in need. Like everybody wants to work with her, and it's justified in that she has so many skills to offer, from a singing perspective to a performance perspective, and creative as well. she's very creative. She does like paintings and artworks and designs, and she's fully invested in herself. And there's a lot of talent in the world where people have picked up one skill, but now we're seeing a lot more DIY people that are doing everything. And it's a shame they got to that point, but you can tell that they're invested in it. She loves doing what she's doing. And I recently joined her Patreon, and I joined at a high tier as well because she offers so much. But not just that, but I waited for a while because I was in my fanboy phase, obviously. I was obsessed with this band, and I don't want to join a channel in the sense of that um, I want to communicate with someone as a human being. So I always separate myself from, and oh my god, Melissa Bonnet. Instead, like, hi Melissa, how are you? I'd rather talk to someone in that sense. So I joined recently, and her community are fabulous. Like, everybody in that whole community are just, every single morning, there's about 10, 20 people that are saying good morning. There's so many different sections. People can talk about anything. There's self-promotion channels, everything. It's just, they're so nice. And it's good to get into these online environments, you know, like, online can be quite toxic. We see from social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so on. With Discord groups, we can join groups that everybody's there for the same reason. So with her Patreon, you get a Discord channel where you can communicate with other ad infinitum fans, and everybody's so nice. You really are. It's one of the nicer communities I've been in. Obviously, like Elaine, as well as other channels that I'm in, Marinas as well, Phantom Elites. There's lots of them that I'm in that I enjoy being in. But Melissa's community, I've only just recently joined, and they're just so nice. And it's nice to wake up to that. Or in my sense, I work 3 nights, so I'm going home to that. So yeah, I'll say again, I'm a big believer in Patreon. I believe in backing artists in the sense that they can keep doing this. They can keep making stuff like this. This is just, you know, if I lived in Europe, I would shoot this band for free. I would take all my equipment. I'd say, anytime you need me, I'd be there. Like, to be part of that process is just, that's exciting, you know? If they were here, I would open up my studio and say, come and shoot. And they're just phenomenal. Like I said, I'm 100% sure that one day we're going to see them on the TV opening up maybe the Super Bowl or something like that. I really believe that. I really believe that she's a superstar in the making. And I really believe that Adrian's a superstar on a guitar in the making. He's going to be just as good as Tim Henson and Scotty LePage and so on. They're hitting those levels. And the reason that they do that is because they're not afraid. No, they're not just, let's use what works. They're like, no, let's try this. Let's try this. I'm sure they've had a lot of failures. I'm pretty sure they had a lot of frustrations. Like, fuck this, you know. Call it a day and come back the next day and to try something else and it works. I'm sure that they've gone through those phases. But everything that they've achieved is so refined and as close to perfect as we can get. And this is why they're one of my favorite bands right now. And this is why she is just number one for me. I believe that she's a superstar in the metal genre. So thanks for listening to me. If you have any recommendations, again, reach out. It was a pleasure to talk about this band. It was exciting for me. So yeah, if you have any recommendations of anyone you want to check out or analyze musically or video-wise, get in touch, leave a comment below, and I'll see you next video. Peace, guys.